Hey, so in this video, as the title of the video already told you, I'd like to discuss the way I took the Japanese language proficiency test N2 and passed it 11 years ago. And what was particularly interesting is that I did not prepare for it at all. I won't be talking too much about Japanese language proficiency test as such, because I guess if you are looking at it, most likely you know what Japanese language proficiency test is. So I'm only going to dwell a bit about the different levels. So the equivalents in Europe are also there. So the elementary levels are N4 and N5. So they correspond to A1 and A2 levels in Europe. Then we get to the intermediate, lower intermediate level, which is N3 and corresponds roughly to B1. And then we are getting to upper intermediate level, which is N2 that I passed back in 2013, which corresponds to B1 and B2. And the highest level that you can take in Japan or overseas is N1, which corresponds roughly to B2 and C1 levels. And I really like that they do have these like kind of ranges, that B2 to C1 and B1 and B2. And the reason is that in order to pass the exam, you will have to get overall pass mark, but at some sections you can get as low as 33%, and which means that actually you have not achieved the highest level. So that's why I really think that's important. So I'd like to now go on with my experience. Back in 2012, I managed to get the scholarship to go to Japan, and by that time, I had studied Japanese language for 2 years. So my level was around N4, the beginning of N3, and then I was when I arrived to Japan. Then at my university at Osaka Kyoiku Daigaku, I discovered that they do not have that many Japanese language classes as I was hoping for, because I knew that some of my friends or acquaintances, they were studying like 5 times a week, like 3 hours a day, and I got like just maybe 3 to 4 Japanese language lessons, like kanji once a week, reading. Was also once a week. Then there was a speaking class. So we just had, I mean, it was not bad, and the lessons were really good, but I felt that I wanted to get along quicker. Well, it was what it was. And I remember we got like different handouts, and looking back, the grammar was for N3, and then at the second part of my stay in Japan, from the spring, we started with N2 grammar as well. So for kanji, I had a special book that I had to buy, and I still have it. It's over here. It's the intermediate kanji book, and it is actually has some kanjis that are used for N3, and also as a lot of kanjis for N2 level. It is actually quite a thick one, and it took us all a year to pass it. And the reason is we had just one class per week, and this book is actually an amazing one. It has lots of exercises that you need to go through. So the drilling was really good. However, we managed to do only 10 chapters, and I'm really sad we didn't get to do the other part as well, which would be enough to pass N2 without any problems whatsoever. So why did I register for N2 level? Actually, I don't remember, but I guess it was due to my confidence, because I had made lots of Japanese friends. I was speaking Japanese in my daily life, so it kind of gave me the feeling that I'm quite good in Japanese. But one thing is to be able to to converse in Japanese. Another thing is to be able to do the academic reading and so on in Japanese. So I guess. That was one of the reasons I opted for N2. And what was interesting is that in the spring, like everybody of my course mates, they registered for the test as well. But I didn't think about it much. I think it was more like just to see what my level is. I didn't open any grammar books to, to look through the grammar, to look through the vocabulary, to look through the kanjis. and uh, I just did my regular classes. And then at one point, I think it was yeah, in the beginning of July, the date of course arrived, and we all together with our course mates, we just went to Nara, and this was very unusually hot day, and the train was late. This never happened. Or we were on the train, I guess, and there was some kind of technical issue. And I remember we arrived at another train station, and we were rushed to the examination place. We were, really panting. We didn't have any air. And I remember I arrived at the class. Everybody was so quiet, and I just sat down, took out my pencil and my eraser, and was waiting for the test to begin. So the test I remember wasn't particularly difficult, but I knew that there were quite many places I was just guessing what the answer could be, and there was a small break in between some sections. And well, after doing the exam, I had to wait for a month and a half, and in August the results came, and the results were as follows. The language knowledge, which means vocabulary and grammar, I got 24 points out of 60, which is definitely B1 level, not B2 level. Reading was 32 points out of 60, which is half of the points possible. So I think that's correct to say that I was between B1 and B2 level. Listening was 51 points out of 60, which actually shows that speaking to a lot of Japanese friends of mine really helped to better my listening skills in Japanese, and I could say that this is B2. So we could really see that we can really see now that my language level actually varied from B1 to B2 depending on the skill, and the total score was 107 points out of 180. And looking back, I think that I did quite well because I didn't have any special prep, and by the statistics in 2013, only 46% of examinees passed the test, and the number were 20,000 who took the N2 test in Japan. So I guess that's a quite nice um, kind of a result for my test. So what do I take with me with the test looking back 11 years ago? I think that's test is amazing to do because it's a way to check what's your language ability. Is there any section that stands out that you really need to work on with? For instance, with my test score at that time, I could really see that grammar and vocabulary is one thing I need to work on a lot to get better. Conclusion of my previous inclusion, I'd say that if you are in Japan and have studied holistically, why not to test Japanese language level with taking the test? However, for the future note for myself, I would say that definitely prepare yourself for the test more thoroughly. I'd say again use different prep books like Try series for grammar, listening, use Kanzen Master or Somatome, or why not to use different mixture of those textbooks. The drill is the key to get a good points, and not only good points but also to manage to get good knowledge and grasp of Japanese language. I myself are thinking I'm thinking about taking the test again. I don't know when exactly, but this time I will try to tackle N2 level again. And if I had to make any goals for my new attempt, I'd say why not to try to get in all sections at least 51 points. And for me, I think the most important thing, of course, is to get the language knowledge to the level, which means that I'd like to maybe drill more as I'm doing at the moment, rather than to be more focused on the on the level as such, because I think it's important to be able to read, to converse, to understand Japanese, rather than to think that, oh, I have N2 like I had it, 11 years ago. But actually, at that point, I wasn't that capable of reading that N2 level text, because I just lacked of some knowledge, because I wasn't studying at the corresponding level at the university. So actually, this concludes my video now. I hope you liked it. If you did, do give me a thumbs up. I'm gonna update soon you with my language review, and see you later. Mata ne. Bye bye.